World War II was won by the bolt-action and semi-auto steel held by millions of infantrymen. Today, we are analyzing the literal backbone of every empire and resistance on the planet. From the refined British Enfield to the brutal Soviet Mosin, this is every major rifle of the war. We are looking at the ballistics, the flaws, and the legacies. Forget the ping of the Garand for a moment. The real history is in the iron. Let's dive in. Germany, precision meets obsolescence. The Karabiner 98K is the undisputed poster child of the German military. If World War II had a popularity award, this bolt-action legend would own the red carpet. Between 1935 and 1945, Germany produced over 14.6 million units. It is the iPhone of the infantry, universal, reliable, and the industry standard. Chambered in the powerful 7.92 by 57 mm Mauser round, it used a 5-round internal magazine. Its controlled feed action is the most successful in history, surviving the mud of the Eastern Front and the sands of North Africa. But by 1943, it hit a wall. While Germany perfected 19th century tech, enemies moved to semi-autos. It was a world-class horse in a Formula One race. It was accurate and lethal, but fast, not even close. WWII 98, before the 98K, there was its granddaddy, the WWII 98. Designed in 1898 by Paul Mauser, it was the Kaiser's primary rifle in World War I. By 1939, it was still lurking in reserve units like a veteran who refused to retire. At 50 inches long, it was effectively a pike that shot the heavy Mauser round. While it lacked the maneuverability of a carbine, its over-engineered action was often more reliable than modern gear from the 1940s. Think of it as the ancient ancestor that still holds the high score in the gaming tournament. Poland, the captured pride WZ-29. The WZ-29 was Poland's proud, short rifle. Based on the Mauser system, it was essentially a standard 98K with a fresh coat of Polish pride. It fired the standard Mauser round and featured a straight bolt handle for rapid cycling. Introduced in 1929, it was a modern and capable weapon until the invasion of 1939. After Poland fell, the German army, which was perpetually short on gear, captured these rifles, stamped them with their own markings, and handed them to their own troops. It was the ultimate awkward career change for a rifle built to defend Warsaw. Great Britain, the speed of the Bolt Lee-Enfield No. 4 Mark I. Britain's philosophy was the mad minute. While others went semi-auto, the Brits made a bolt action so smooth it felt like one. The Lee-Enfield No. 4 Mark I was the peak of this lineage. Firing the .303 British round from a 10-round magazine, it had double the capacity of the German Mauser. Its magic was the rear-locking bolt. A trained British soldier could fire 20 to 30 aimed shots per minute. It was ridiculously reliable. Rain, mud, or tea stains didn't matter. Compared to the German 98K, the Enfield was a bolt-action machine gun in disguise. Pattern 1914 Enfield. The Pattern 1914 Enfield, also known as the P14, was Britain's backup plan, designed for Mauser-style accuracy. It fired the .303 round from a 5-round magazine. It wasn't as fast as the No. 4, but it was incredibly precise. Because of its heavy barrel and robust action, it became the go-to choice for snipers. If the No. 4 was the loud frontman, the P14 was the quiet guy in the corner who never missed a long-range headshot. Lisle Carbine. The Lisle Carbine was a weapon so quiet it made ninjas look like a brass band. A Frankenstein of an Enfield receiver, a Thompson barrel, and a Colt 1911 magazine. It fired .45 ACP rounds through a massive integrated suppressor. The loudest sound was the bolt's mechanical clack. Used by special forces for stealth operations, it was the rifle James Bond would have used to clear a room before anyone knew he was there. The United States. The Arsenal of Democracy M1903 Springfield, the M1903 Springfield was the veteran of the US arsenal. A bolt-action masterpiece, firing the legendary 30-06 round, it was technically a licensed Mauser copy. By 1940, it was considered ancient, yet its incredible accuracy kept it in the hands of the Marine Corps snipers in the Pacific. It didn't have the fire rate of modern guns, but if you could see a target through its sights, that target was effectively gone. M1 Garand General Patton called the M1 Garand the greatest battle implement ever devised. It was the first semi-automatic rifle issued as a standard infantry weapon by a major power. With an 8-round N-block clip of 30-06, it offered overwhelming fire superiority. You just pulled the trigger until the iconic ping signaled a fresh clip was needed. While some call the sound a giveaway, the reality was that 7 other soldiers were usually still shooting, making the ping the last thing the enemy ever heard. M1 Carbine, for those who didn't need a full-sized rifle, there was the M1 Carbine. Designed for paratroopers and officers, it fired a smaller .30 carbine round from 15 or 30-round magazines. Semi-automatic and weighing half as much as a Garand, it was the lightweight champion. It lacked the Garand's long-range punch, but in the Pacific jungles or Normandy hedgerows, it was the perfect high-volume survival tool. Japan, the rugged samurai Arisaka Type 38. The Arisaka Type 38 was the backbone of Imperial Japan. Firing a 6.5 by 50 mm cartridge, it was 50 inches of rugged reliability. Its signature dust cover kept jungle grime out of the action, and its high-quality steel made it one of the strongest bolt-actions ever made. It was a rifle you could bury, dig up, and use to cross a stream before returning to the fight. Arisaka Type 99. The Arisaka Type 99 was the upgrade package. It fired a larger 7.7 mm round and was shortened for better handling. It famously included anti-aircraft wings on the sights, a desperate attempt to shoot down bombers with bolt-action fire. Despite late-war manufacturing shortcuts, the Type 99 remained a brutally effective and durable tool for the Emperor's soldiers. The Soviet Union, brutal simplicity Mosin-Nagant M1891/30. The Mosin-Nagant 1891/30 is a piece of iron that survives everything. Firing the 7.62 by 54 mm rimmed round, the recoil felt like a mule kick, but it never failed. With its permanent bayonet, it was as much a pike as a rifle. Drop it in a blizzard or a vat of vodka, it didn't care. Mass-produced by the millions, it was the ultimate weapon of attrition. Mosin-Nagant M38. The Mosin-Nagant M38 was the angry carbine version. By chopping the barrel, the Soviets made it portable, but they also created a basketball-sized fireball and punishing recoil. You didn't just fire the M38, you survived the experience. It was short, loud, violent, and completely indestructible. France, the vintage Guardian's Lebel Model 1886. The Lebel Model 1886 was a relic by 1940. It was the first smokeless powder rifle in history, but its tubular magazine made it painfully slow to reload. It was an accurate walking stick that happened to fire bullets, a vintage Guardian that was simply outclassed by modern German Mausers. MAS-36. France tried to modernize with the MAS-36. A short, rugged bolt action, firing the 7.5 mm French round, it featured a bent bolt for faster cycling. Ironically, due to the fall of France in 1940, more were used by Germans and Vichy forces than the Free French. It was a great design that arrived too late to change the map of Europe. Italy and Hungary. The underestimated Carcano M91. The Carcano M91 was Italy's standard. Lightweight and chambered in 6.5 mm, it used an N-block system like the Garand. While often called underpowered, It was a reliable mountain rifle. Its biggest flaw was the ping of the empty clip, which served as a dinner bell for the enemy. Carcano M38. The Carcano M38 was the shorter variant. It gained infamy decades later as the surplus rifle allegedly used in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was an underrated World War II tool that became a historical lightning rod long after the shooting stopped. Mannlicher M95/31. Hungary used the Mannlicher M95/31, which featured a straight pull action. It was theoretically the fastest bolt action in the world. You just pulled it straight back. However, a single grain of sand could jam the complex mechanism. It was a high-maintenance rifle for a high-intensity war. China, the immortal clone Hanyang Type 88. The Hanyang Type 88 was China's Nokia brick. Based on an 1888 German design, it was heavy and the accuracy was a mere suggestion. Yet, produced by the millions, it was enough to hold off an empire. It proved that heart and old iron can defend a nation against all odds. The evolution, the birth of the assault rifle American Karabiner 42. As the war turned, Germany tested the American Karabiner 42, also known as the MKB-42. This was the beta test for modern warfare, firing a short 7.92mm Kurz round for controllable automatic fire. It proved that the era of the massive bolt action was over. Sturmgewehr 44. Finally, we have the Sturmgewehr 44, the world's first true assault rifle. With a 30-round magazine and select fire capabilities, it was a lightsaber in a sword fight. It didn't save Germany from defeat, but it became the granddaddy of the AK-47 and every modern rifle that followed. From the captured Polish rifles to the revolutionary German Sturmgewehr, these weapons were mechanical witnesses to history. Which one would you trust your life with? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and keep history alive.